I'm Jimmy Turano. Unfortunately, we've actually had to really use Marshall and Sterling for horse deaths, and I have to say that Marshall and Sterling has been an amazing company. They have taken care of things. It's been worry-free. The person we deal with, Missy, she takes it all upon herself. Once we go to her with the claim, she does it all for us. And I have to say, since we've been with Marshall and Sterling, I just can't think of going anywhere else. I put all my trust, all my faith in them.
Premier Equestrian, the #1 choice for footing products. Premier Equestrian, footing products that improve performance. Premier Equestrian, footing products for cushion and stability. Call 800-611-6109 or visit premierequestrian.com.
The beauty, power, and elegance of warm blood horses is no accident. A history of carefully crafted breeding practices that walk the delicate line of art and science has created a horse that is as strong as it is graceful, so that it may successfully compete at the most elite level in equine sports. Breeders can access an American Stallion station that provides both fresh chilled and frozen semen options with full transparency on semen quality. Set on 800 acres of Lexington, Kentucky bluegrass, Spy Coast Farm is revolutionizing the breeding practices of warm blood horses. World-renowned stallions with proven bloodlines that have successfully competed at the top level of international Grand Prix sport are collected by a resident veterinarian and processed promptly for shipment to a domestic breeder for a timely insemination of their ovulating mare. The experts at Spy Coast Farm are determined to improve your U.S. breeding options by taking the guesswork out of semen quality.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we are, about 6 minutes from the top of the order. We'll have yet another two-phase event coming at you here today as our Major League show jumping second stop in Traverse City continues on. And we in our two-star competition wrap up there with Ken Farrington taking the win. Another two-phase coming up in the 5-star ranks. Now, we have had some scratches, so we'll see about 64 starters here today. Just so you know, we've got 28th, 31st, 36th, and 39th in the order a scratch today. Competition will begin here at the judges' end of the arena over the Mosaic Horse Oxer #1. And 7 strides onward to the Turtle Creek Vertical, the playing card vertical there going toward the Cabana Coast Club. They'll come down toward home over the diagonal, and the Dutch Tulip Double will be 3A and 3B with a stride between. Then on to the NetJets Oxer, fence #4. Rolling back to the right, jumping the Sunflower Vertical 5 before they make the choice of whether to jump fence #6 on the open water or the Oxer fence #6, both of them, of course, using the Major League wings. There is a rail above the water there if they do choose the water option. Then they'll come over the Bald Eagle Vertical, fence #7, before they continue rolling to the left to jump the Captive One Marlin Vertical. Normal 6 strides on to the Canadian Pacific Oxer #9. 10AB is the orange combination, a vertical oxer going toward home. And #11 is 5 strides onward there to the Traverse City Gate vertical to wrap up the course here today. The first phase goes from 1 through 6, and the time allowed there is 38 seconds. Once they cross through that finish line, it also serves as the start line of the second phase. 7 through 11 will be the jumps used there. And, of course, cumulative faults and the second phase time are what will determine the results in our competition today. Of course, as always, knockdowns incur a 4-fault penalty. A first refusal incurs 4 faults that time, and an elimination result will be the second refusal. And if they do exceed the time allowed in either phase, they will get 1 fault for each commenced second over. Of course, this is a feature of the day here in the International Cast, and we're going to ask everyone, before we send that first one down the hillside, to please rise and remove cover as we'll be honoring our host country, the United States of America, with that national anthem. Top of the order coming down the hill for the 5-star two-phase here today. Once again, with 64 starters vying for the top honor in this first 5-star international competition. While that first one's coming down, once again, it'll be Nikki Galligan, a unique star, and it is showtime. All right, Nikki Galligan coming to us once again, a rider for Ireland showing the way here, based out of Brookhaven, New York, and riding for Ritz Fuente LLC from Jackson, Wyoming. This will be Unique Star, first up in the 5-star events.
We have a new leader right now.
Through the arch they come. Unique Star, the 14-year-old Bay Self-Francais Stallion by Niagara Del. Again, it's Ireland's Nikki Galligan aboard.
League jumping here this week. Starter for the 5 stars here, and it is going to be a big class coming up, over 60 in this $1,000 class, essentially to give them a first spin around the arena here for this week in Traverse City. It also, of course, features on Sunday the American Gold Cup team competition here as part of Major League on Saturday, and lots of exciting combinations here vying for a large prize purse here this week in Traverse City. Nikki Galligan starting us off, and Nikki with the Irish ride of Unique Star for the American-based rider with a stallion by Nagradel, as we've seen him a number of times this season. Hannah Robson alongside me, as she is at many of the stages of Major League jumping, and a little pipe opener for them.
Yeah, it's a really good opportunity for the horses and riders to take a look around the arena, as you say, get to grips with the environment, get to grips with the footing here. And this pair have made the most of these opening classes in the past as well. They were third in the 5-star opening welcome class at Toronto just a few weeks ago. That was our third leg of competition. And Nikki's competed this horse at the Traverse City first leg, at Toronto and Ottawa so far this season. He's got a couple of good horses that he's riding in the Major League season and on the teams as well, but Unique Star is one that he's just taking for a bit of a spin round here.
Absolutely, and for him this week, like several in this, it is just the 4 faults, but I say a first spin around the course, getting things up a gear a little bit into that second phase of the competition. It's a 2-phase, just to give you a rundown there, as he just has fence 10 down in the replay, and time allowed 38 seconds in phase 1. 11 fences on the course. Phase 2 time of 34, and it is a 2-phase special, so they head all around the track. Lovely to see Lucy Delorier with us for the Lucia LLC of New York, and for the New York rider, it is Ananda, the mare by Nabab Darev for Lucy, now well established as a 5-star rider, still in her very early 20s as well, though, but already made it on to some of those leading teams, including last year's Aachen winning team for the US squad. That's with the fabulous Hester Ananda here this week for Lucy. And for her, well, we've already seen just one round at 4 faults at 28.16. Gives us a little idea of time there with Nikki Gallagher.
Yeah, Lucy, as you say, been on some great teams already. She's been on 2 Pan American Games teams as well in 2018 and 2019. Team bronze in 2019 for her there. Previously, she also did extremely well at the North American Youth Championships. She's got an individual gold, team silver and an individual silver to her name at those championships, and those with that horse that you were mentioning, Hester. She's actually 42nd in the under-25 world rankings at the moment and has jumped really well recently with Ananda, but just puts a hand up there.
Yeah, just deciding to retire, as I say, with several here. It will just get a few fences under their belt and ready for what is a big week ahead. Tomorrow afternoon, reminder too, we've got 2 classes coming up there, the speed and also jump-off class into tomorrow's Friday special of this Major League stop. Of course, this is the 5th stage of Major League, of the halfway point of competition so far. Santiago Lambre and the Brazilian, these days based in Ocala, Florida, Chaco Blue the second, the stallion by Chaco Blue. Been on amazing form here in Traverse City over the last few weeks. Win after win after win. Started off the first week. This is the 3rd week of the Tournament of Champions series here as well. We've been through 2- and 3-star competitions in the last few weeks, then building up to this 5-star. But he's been the man on fire, having already won Grand Prix and those welcome stakes as well. Picked up a whole list of classes here in the last couple of weeks too, including the National Grand Prix. See how he fares this week, but very capable of stepping up on this very good horse, Chaco Blue the second, which is again another fine example of the next generation of Chaco Blue.
Yeah, really amazing how well these Chaco Blue horses do this. So consistent as a stallion. Santiago Lambre gone really well with this horse in the previous Major League show jumping legs this season so far. He was 9th with Chaco Blue 2 in the 5-star Grand Prix at Traverse City in our first leg that was here. Just had a fast 4 faulting round to take 9th spot. So again, having a good look around this course, and no doubt could be aiming for that 5-star Grand Prix again.
Yeah, pops over the water without any too much trouble, but also just takes a lot of steps in between, just steadies things right up before the next fence on track. And for them, again, not at the races here as they don't need to be, but really getting a really nice round underneath them. Going to be maybe just a fraction over the time allowed in this second phase there. Yep, finishes on the 1:34.51 for Santiago Lambre and Chaco Blue the second, but it's our leading score so far. Here, just the sunflowers down to the water. And at the CP fence, nice set of effort over that. Santiago making way for another on good form this season. She's been flying along as part of Major League, also was at the World Cup finals this year as well. Last season World Cup winning combination 2 in that stage in Las Vegas. Pepita Conspita, the mare for Hunter Holloway of Kansas. Hayes Investment Corporation's 11-year-old mare by DSP Conspirit. And another big win behind her just last week in Saugerties as well. So it's been right on the button so far, but already has been into team competition this year as well with this combination.
Yeah, as you say, extremely impressive performance at Saugerties very recently for Hunter, and Pepita Conspita has been a great horse for her this season and earlier as well. She's ridden on the team competition for the Crusaders with this horse. Rode on the team in Vancouver, just to have 2 fences down, but this is the horse also that she rode to the World Cup final in Leipzig in April of this year for a 16th place finish. And she jumps clear with this horse around about 50% of the time over fences of 1.50 m, 29% clear at 160, so really consistent combination. And she's got 4 horses that she rides up to the 5-star level now, but Pepita Conspita arguably the most consistent.
Taking advantage of the option at the water here, they've got an option of going to the left to the Oxer or jumping the water itself, just to get them a little spin over that before later on in the week. Likely to be a part of the rounds for the Gold Cup here on Sunday. And just gives a little reminder going over that splash. And then just an easy 7 strides down to the last. Sees them at 32.37. Time of that second phase a little bit tighter, but they're not racing yet for it. As I say, this is going to be a good one for them. And we here see them just down to the wall, just a little reminder down there. Doesn't look too much at it. And should be in spick and span order for later on in the week for that American Gold Cup here on Sunday. Smiling away is Hunter Holloway and Pepita Conspita with mission accomplished. Jordan Coyle now of Ireland, and this is the land farm of New Jersey's Costa Diam, 10-year-old mare by comprises Chamblon. Multiple winner, as we mentioned many times, for Jordan this season. And for him, those Grand Prix wins behind them, part of the Spico Spies as well, that are sitting second in that race for the team title at the moment. It's another good result here, we will see. Could see them in the reckoning, but closing it up to a 7-point difference now between Helios and the Spy Coast squad. So a little bit closer than it was. Helios were running away with it early on in the season with 3 wins behind them, but Spy Coast getting the second places in, getting the podiums in there, and have a shot here this week. Jordan, with this horse that hasn't jumped as many Grand Prix as the likes of Ariso and so forth this season, but this one's stepping up nicely. This 10-year-old getting some good mileage as part of the tour this year.
Yeah, they jumped in the Grand Prix, the 5-star Grand Prix at Ottawa at our previous leg. Just had 2 fences down there and finished in 15th place. Looked like a bit of a splash in the water there to me. But as you say, you know, this horse has been jumping in quite a few 2-star competitions. He did the 2-star Grand Prix with this horse at Vancouver at our show at the end of May. Just the 1 fence down there for 8th place. But Costa Diam, just a 10-year-old, so as you say, perhaps not as experienced as the likes of Ariso, Picador, the other top ride of Jordan's. Costa Diam now really stepping up to the level well.
Pops neatly down the final line, 33.52, so goes into second so far for Jordan Coyle and Costa Diam. And for them, this is the fence after the water. The Eagles. And then a little move across the CP fence. Last one again. An economical jump at the last, and job done. Mark Blumen now. Mark with the over-the-top stables of New York's Noortje van Windhoevel, the mare. A 9-year-old here by Farfalla de Meuse for Mark. Again, been with us on the last few stages of competition. And this one, again, has been producing some very good rounds. Has just been, again, moving through the gears this season.
Yeah, they're 40% clear at fences over 1.60 m and about 20% at 150. But they're getting the miles on the clock. Marilyn, of course, is Mark's top ride, if you like. And that's the horse who's been jumping in the 5-star Grand Prix in the top 10 in Toronto with that horse. Noortje van der Windhoevel, though, did really well in the 2-star competitions at Toronto.
Yeah, just a little hesitant at the water there, but again, that's what it's there for in this round, just to get them a good look at it, pole over it, so it's not too much of a stress either. They can just take a nice shot over that, stretch out over it as he's done, and actually he's going to come back to it. There we go, pops over it with clean air space this time. So obviously retiring, he can go and jump a single fence there, of which the water would be one of those. So he's going to just pop that, and we'll say thank you very much. I'm done and dusted. For Mark Blumen and Noortje van der Windhoevel. Vanessa Mannix now, and the Canadian from Calgary, Alberta, Katinka 25. Just taking a breather for a moment, and a very good run in Vancouver, of course, which was the opening stage of Major League Jumping. That doubled up 5-star 2 weeks that they had there with the Nations Cup as well. Katinka last season finishing well in the World Cups in Vancouver too. Now Vanessa joining us here in Traverse City, of course, training with Connor Swell, as she has done for a long period of her career.
Katinka's just been going better and better for Vanessa. in recent times. They were in the top 10 in their last 6 competitions, and including the Ottawa Major League Show Jumping Show, actually have a run of 10 clear rounds in a row, which just shows you how consistent this pair have become in recent times. They were 5th in a 3-star Grand Prix at Vancouver in August, and so far this year they've been clear 60% of the time. Vanessa has a couple of newer rides as well, but Katinka, very much a horse that she's been jumping consistently well.
Good round, going clear and taking the lead so far, 27.4, so takes a good slice off about nearly 5 seconds for Vanessa Mannix, and Katinka 25. Again, economical over the fence at the Captive One lineup. Of course, the series here too of the Captive One rider bonus that runs throughout the shows here in Traverse City. That will be concluded this week too, after Sunday's American Gold Cup. Margie Engel in the lead for that at the moment, but we in the meantime concentrate on Carly Fairty and the Fairgreen Sod Farms Lichin de Seleux, the mare that's now 12 years of age for Carly, part of the Lugano team.
Yeah, she rode this horse for Team Lugano at our Toronto leg, but had 4 fences down there, which was a little bit unfortunate, and saw Lugano in 6th place, but first time she rode on the team for them. But Lugano, of course, going from strength to strength with that fantastic win in Ottawa. And Carly could well be on their squad this week as well. That win has taken them up to 6th place in the overall season standings. Her first time on the Major League Show Jumping teams this year as well. But Lugano really are a team who are really starting to gel together. They've got a fantastic lineup with the likes of Kent Farrington and Erin Ballard, alongside the likes of Natalie Dean and Vanessa Hood as well. Carly really forming a key part of the team for them.
Yeah, it takes them into 5th place with that CP fence down at 26.97, so it was a faster time, but a fence down for Carly Fairty and Elite Chin de Seleux for the Canadian rider. Just unfortunately dropping down on the back bar of that CP fence. See them with 4 on the scorecard. Callie Schott returns to a venue that's certainly got very special memories for her, having won the 5-star Grand Prix here back in August, and aboard the combination for the Southern Arches LLC of this is going to be Garrett, the gelding by Warrant, horse in fact that BC Madden rode to win the American Gold Cup a few seasons ago, and it was just an 8-year-old there, but now transferring over to Callie, and it's been a really good combination coming together, and looked very good here last week as well with Fairfield too. So coming in with a strong group trained by the Madden team, so Carly to recommence and actually finish well in the Grand Prix in Ottawa as well.
Yeah, as you say, won the 5-star Grand Prix here at the first Major League Show Jumping leg at Traverse City, but they were 4th in the 5-star Grand Prix at Ottawa in our previous leg as well. Had a clear in the first round, one of only 4 combinations to get through to the jump off at our previous leg. Just had the 1 fence down and finished in 4th place. But you can see the speed that she has with this horse, and she often comments on the fact that she can really gallop to those final fences, or, you know, gallop down those longer lines across the arena and really trust the horse. It's got so much power and really absolutely has the speed as well, as was clear when they won the 5-star Grand Prix here just a few weeks ago last month. Yeah, former ride of BZ Madden to that fantastic success as well. And Callie's going ever more strongly really herself in competitions. That was her first 5-star Grand Prix win at this show here in August. And another nice double clear.
It is 32.38 as the time goes into third place there for Cali Shot. And Garant sets them up nicely for the week as well. As we can see here, plenty of elevation over these early fences. Here a nice pop down to the NetJets fence. Just gets a tiny fraction close there, but all still in place. And looking good down this line as well. So puts her in the higher group. Cali Shot going into third. TJ O'Mara now and Casio Dam for TJ from Ocala, Florida, riding for Caroline Blake of Connecticut. The grey by Luadam, a 10-year-old now. TJ, again, is one who's come through the young rider ranks very successfully indeed. Not seen too much of him on the tour itself because he's coming in here as an individual as part of this big 5-star week for him. But Casio Dam, again, been jumping a number of different shows, but one of their first appearances at Traverse City this season.
Yeah, a relatively new combination together. They've been jumping together since June in international competition. This one was previously ridden a couple of times by Victoria Colvin of the USA and also by Lauren Hoff. TJ brought this horse to the 2-star Grand Prix at Bridgehampton just about a week ago. Had 3 fences down there. But he did have a win in a 2-star Grand Prix at Lexington in June with this horse.
There goes the early June shows, and then I say preparation, as you say, there for the Hampton Classic, and turns up to this double pretty well. This is a good time. Should be there or thereabouts. It's going to be very close to the lineup. 28.99 goes into second for TJ O'Mara and Casio Dam. So second spot so far for the young American. Languishing into second behind Vanessa Mannix on Katinka 25. Not much between those two. 27.4 from Vanessa, 28.99 from TJ. Hunter Holloway in third, 32.37. So a little bit of daylight between those two, but a very nice round, to say, on a newer combination that's been building up nicely over the last few weeks. Thomas Joffre now, the Stillium Sport horses. Alante Z, the mare by Amindo W, which, if I remember right, is the ride of Rolf Joran Bengtsson. And for Aliante Z, this going to be one of the early rounds into 5 stars for them as well. It's a 9-year-old mare for Thomas Joffre, of course, we've been used to seeing with Cadora.
Yeah, a fairly new ride for Thomas, as you say. Just had this since earlier this year, really just this summer. The horse had a little bit of a break from international competition as it was previously ridden by Ismael Garcia Roque and Sergio Alvarez Moya, those 2 Spanish riders riding this horse up to 3-star level, quite extensively at the 1-star level. This is Thomas's 3rd show with the horse. He jumped it at Rockwood at the Major League show, the Angelstone tournaments, and had a clear and then 5 in the 5-star 2-phase competition there. Then was 26th with 1 fence down and then 2 time faults in the 2-phase competition, the 5-star one at Ottawa. They were 3rd in a 5-star speed class at our Toronto leg as well. So good against the clock. Potentially good against the clock. But a couple of time penalties picked up in their 2-phase competitions so far. This also has been ridden in some really interesting competitions like the CaixaBank Trophy at Barcelona, Nations Cup final show in the Negrita Cup. That was with the former rider, so...
Absolutely, some good shoulder classes there to get some good experience. 28.26, good rounds from Thomas Joffre and Alante Z. So that puts them into second place so far. Very swiftly moves a very nice round TJ O'Mara and Casio Dam down into third on 28.99. And Thomas Joffre, 28.26, still within that same second, goes into second spot. Vanessa Mannix keeps the lead at 27.4 so far. So they go into second spot. Juan Ortiz now. Blue Trim LLC's Kinky Boy, Van Het Gildenhoff. 12-year-old chestnut's become a familiar combination as part of Major League jumping as well. Named to remember too, easily enough. The horse was produced in the Netherlands. Again, he's built up this partnership nicely that started off well earlier into the season with McLean Ward.
Yeah, as you say, a combination that we've seen quite a lot so far on the Major League show jumping circuit. I think he's jumped this horse at every leg so far this season. Kinky Boy going increasingly well, and they've been knocking on the door for a good win in these 5-star competitions. for quite a few weeks. They had 3 down in the 5-star Grand Prix at our first leg here at Traverse City in August. They had a 28th place finish, but the horse has only been with Juan since February of this year. It was previously ridden by Frank Schutert of the Netherlands, and they're about 33% in terms of their clear round rate.
Still looking good, and this is not going to be far away as well for Juan Ortiz and Kinky Boy. Leading time 27.4, just a touch over that at 29.65. Nicely done into 4th place for Juan Ortiz, and leads him into our top 5, just behind TJ Omar, who stays in 3rd on 28.99, 29.65 from Juan. Hunter Holloway makes up the top 5 at the moment. So they're just giving it a little bit of a spin into that second half, which is good practice there for the rest of the week. Another that went so well here last year too is Kyle King now. And Kyle, the US rider with Echelon for the Chestnut Gelding by Ottongelo, hailing originally from California, owned by Christine McLean, and saw him onto the podium here last year as part of the 5-star Grand Prix behind BZ Man, who topped that one on that occasion too, and also had those really good results onto the Californian stages into the Major League at the tail end of last year as well. Certainly saw him shoot up the world rankings with some brilliant performances, and great to see him getting the opportunity with some very good horses like this one, and of course Coffee to Go as well amongst those. Starts off with keen determination.
Yeah, this combination were a key part of the Roadrunners team last year, and as you say, did particularly well at the later legs of the Major League Show Jumping Series in 2021. They were actually on the podium for the Roadrunners 3 times in the season last year, and Kyle really climbing those world rankings, and now sits not too far outside the top 100. 117th is his position. He's been jumping this horse in 3-star competitions at Calgary and Vancouver very recently, and won a 3-star Grand Prix at Vancouver in the middle of last month. He's had 9 top 10 finishes with this horse in this summer.
Looks good, 27.4, and set off with purpose there for Kyle King of the Roadrunner squad and Echelon. So new leader. Well, in fact, it's a joint lead because Kyle King and Vanessa Mannix both on 27.40, so can't separate them. That'll make them equal first. Simple as that. So Vanessa for the Northern Lights, Kyle King for the Roadrunners. Neither can quite accelerate away from the other, so they're tied at the top. Into 3rd then for Thomas Joffre and Eliante Z on 28.26. So it's Mannix and King that reign at the moment. Rally Heiler now, Kurt Heiler of Boston's Casina 64, the mare by Collado, for again another of the younger riders getting a good opportunity here this week. Again, Rally coming here as part of the 5-star week, not part of the teams. Has also been, I think, over into Europe in the last few months as well.
Yeah, I've been jumping at Deauville and Dinard, as well as at Nokkahipik in Belgium. Had a good few runs around Europe with this horse for about 5 top 10 placings in those competitions, but also been jumping at Devon and New York, as well as in Florida this summer. Been jumping in the 2- and 3-star competitions. A couple of 4 stars at Devon, but just really getting the miles on the clock, and lots of nice top 10 placings for this pair. The horse actually was previously ridden by Lucas Porter a few years ago, who again competed the horse around Europe as well, to plenty of good results. They have mainly clear rounds, a couple of 4 faults, just a couple of 8s, so really fairly consistent, not particularly heavy faulting rounds on their record so far.
And looking good indeed. It's a fast round at 26.68, and looks a good record again. Rally Heiler and Castina 64 will now speed away to be the new leaders. We don't have a problem with a joint lead anymore because we've solved that very quickly with Rally Heiler going round on 26.68. as the new leader here this afternoon. Coming into view is Shane Sweetnam and the Gizmo partners James Can Cruz. Horse that he rode on the winning team in Dublin a few weeks ago on the Irish squad there, and then into the top few of that Grand Prix. I think he was into third place for the Grand Prix there in Dublin just a few weeks ago before heading here. And lovely to see this horse in action, one of the leading horses of the talked about jumping world at the moment. Still just a 9-year-old, as it's been all year. Gelding by Cannon, and from the line of CSF Telecruise. It was produced by Frank Connors originally out in Ireland. Irish bred combination with an Irish rider on top, and with an Aga Khan win behind them this year as well.
Yeah, great results in Dublin, as you say, especially that third in the Grand Prix, as well as that Aga Khan win. This is the second competition, or the first competition after Dublin that Shane has taken this horse to. He went to Ottawa and then came to Traverse City since our Major League Show Jumping leg in Ottawa with a couple of different horses, but James Can Cruz now coming over this side of the world for these 5-star level competitions. Shane himself, with those fantastic results, has gone up to 23rd in the Longines World Rankings. Just again, goes better and better, and it's really all about consistency with those. He also jumped this horse in the Nations Cups at Rotterdam and Vancouver. Also jumped this horse for a 6th place in the Rolex Grand Prix of Dinard as well in July.
Goes round very nicely for 33.61, just getting in their stride here, as you say, around about a month's hiatus since their last outing. And top 10 will be happy enough with that, not chasing the class here particularly. Will be very much with focus on the American Gold Cup here later this week for Shane Sweetnam and James Can Cruz. Of course, there's only been one previous non-American win there, and that was an Irish win with Richie Maloney back a few seasons ago. And Shane will be looking to add his name to the list if he can. Of course, also here for the Spy Coast Spies Team 2. So we'll be having a spin round in that team speed competition later on this week as well. Tana Karotkin, Quinn 33, putting a nice win together just a couple of weeks ago as well. Of course, on that previous stage in Ottawa, when we were in Canada there, the US rider with the chestnut gelding by Kidam de Revel, a 12-year-old for Tana, also training amongst the Shane Sweetnam squad. Just unfortunately gives the first a little bit of a bump, but it stays, but it just wakes them up for the rest.
Yeah, that's what can happen sometimes, isn't it? When they have a rattle at an early fence, it can really sometimes wake them up and get them going for the rest of the round. Tanner, as he says, had 2 fantastic results with this horse, and it's a relatively new partnership. A win here at Traverse City in the speed class in August, and then a win in the 5-star jump-off class in Ottawa as well. He's brought this horse back to Traverse City in the last couple of weeks for 2 top 10 placings, just 1 fence down in 2 speed classes at 3-star level, but he's only had this horse for a few weeks, only had it since August of this year. It was previously ridden by Diego Javier Vivero of Ecuador. Alison Robitaille also on this horse's CV, and then earlier Sasha Nygaard Andreasen, of course, is the horse's owner.
Well, there leaves them a score of 8 this time, 28-2-4 for Tana Karotkin and Quinn 33. 2 down for them, that little bit of a bounce at the first, but just turns up the gears into that second phase and just rubs along the 2 parts of that doublers. Just unfortunately gets a little bit closer than they would have wanted to that. And in the meantime, Samuel Parot and Captain Z. Another one in the money here last week as well. The stallion by Calvino Z. So for Samuel Parot, a couple of horses here last week taking a good run in those speed classes. Also placed in the Grand Prix here in Traverse City on to that first week of the Tournament of Champions back into early September as well. It's all rattling through very quickly now, but this one again is just should be nicely set up to take a run round here and get ready for a big week. Just edges to the left a little over the second.
Yeah, he had 2 fences down with this horse in the 5-star Grand Prix at our first leg here for a 20th place finish, but 2 wins as well. He led the individual placings in the team competition, but also had a win in a 3-star Grand Prix at Tryon in July. Oof, huge jump at the water. He's also had some 2-star wins at venues like Tryon earlier in the summer as well, but quite a few top 10 placings. And a 2nd in a 3-star speed class here a couple of weeks ago. So this is a good venue for them, but he's just saving the horse for another day.
Yeah, decides to retire there for Samuel Parro and Captain Z. Say first of several spins that he's had here in the last few weeks as well for him. Again, we've been growing in the number of faces here over the last few weeks here in Traverse City as we built up to this 5- and 2-star week. And leading the way so far, Rally Hyla and Casina 64 and 26. 68, you see the blue skies up above us. I think that's the forecast for the rest of the week, which will be nice here in Traverse City. Beautiful spot here, if you've not been up here before, just along the lakes of the Great Lakes, and they're not too far from this spot here. In fact, if you're standing up there where that tent was being shown, you can see across just to the water there, across the trees, and to Traverse Bay. Beautiful spot. Man who's been here a number of times and a past winner of that American Gold Cup as well is Ken Farrington now. Kent this time with Greer, the mare by Colestus, which was the very good grey stallion, ridden by Ludger Beerbaum, so coming out of the German stud there. And Greer, the 8-year-old mare for Kent. Kent, who was actually winner of our previous class in the 2-star as well. And, of course, the current leader individually of the standings for Major League Jumping as well. Had a really good run in Ottawa. Went home with plenty of dollars from that one, and well done with the team win and Grand Prix behind them as well. Been on absolute flying form, and we'll be looking at all elements this week.
Ottawa was definitely an amazing show for Kent, as was Toronto actually. He's had a lot of wins recently, as you say, already a win under his belt here today. Greer, this 8-year-old, is one with whom you're going extremely well at the 2-star level. They were 2nd in the 2-star Grand Prix at Ottawa, 5th in a 3-star Grand Prix at Traverse City in August. But this horse, as I say, plenty of top 10s for them. He's been jumping this horse in a couple of 5-stars, 5 stars at Wellington, just having some time penalties there, but now really solidifying the horse at the 2-star level, a horse that was previously ridden by Milan Cruz of Germany. But he says that he's got a good few horses and it's a developing year for them, but even though it's a developing year, he said just because it's a developing year, he still wants to win the classes with them as well.
And he will go into the placings once again, into 7th place. It won't be necessarily the biggest prize money of the week for him. There's plenty more of that on the table for him to come yet. But it is a nice round for Ken Farrington and Greer as they head around the course for a good score, top 10. And into 7th place at 29.91. Roberto Turan and Dezuk Tov, a horse that he's ridden right the way through to Olympic level at Tokyo last season, of course to previous big championships as well. Another one that's been a main feature here in Traverse City over the last few weeks as well. And now with this well-established 14-year-old, would be another one to keep your eye on for Sunday as well.
Yeah, he took this to Herning to those FEI World Championships as well, and had some good rounds there, but he's been jumping this horse this summer at Tryon and at Traverse City for some very, very good placings. 5th in a 3-star Grand Prix, 2nd in a 3-star jump-off competition here in June. Also took this horse to the Rome 5-star competitions at the Piazza di Siena and jumped this horse in the Kentucky Invitational 3-star Grand Prix, as well as the 3-star Welcome Speed Cup earlier this year as well. but this is his second summer bringing the horse to Traverse City. Some nice results last year, but really particularly good this year, so it's obviously an arena that really suits them. Not necessarily going their way here, but we know that this is really the opportunity for them to get to grips with the arena and the environment.
Yeah, unusual round for them, for sure. The 31.84 for Roberto Turan. Not their usual take around this course, but again, it's a first stop of the week. Some big money to come in. A little bit of a cut across that CP fence just leaves them on the back bar there. And this double that's caused, well, just a small headache for one or two so far. A little pop out from the first vertical there for Roberto, so leaves them on a score of 8. Jacqueline Steffens coming up. Before that, it's Kristen van der Veen of the USA, and the Bull Run Jumpers Incorporated Bull Runs Jira, the gelding by Yorico. Another 8-year-old. Again, building up a few more horses into the string for Kristen. And this 8-year-old by Yorico from the lines of Coleman as well. Again, a prolific winner here in the US in terms of FEI classes. Probably wins more than almost anyone. But, again, just really sort of restructuring the string at the moment.
Yeah, she's got a lot of very good rides. Kristen's been going extremely well in a lot of our 5-star Grand Prix so far this season. But this is a little bit of a newer one, as you say, just an 8-year-old. And she jumped this horse at Bridgehampton for a good result in 2-star speed class. But has been taking this horse to the Canadian legs of the Major League Show Jumping season, the Toronto and Ottawa legs in the 2-star competitions there. Also jumped in the 5 stars at leg 2, in Traverse City. 8th place in the 5-star winning round competition for them. She also had an early win at Akala earlier this year with this horse.
I think just the martingale coming undone underneath there, just making not too much difference so far. Still pair bouncing around without too much trouble, and so we'll get home with a nice round. Going to be in the early 30s. 31.98 for Kristen van der Veen and Bull Runs Jura as they go clear. Leaves them into 8th place at the moment. As I say, some big money on the table coming up over the next few days, notably tomorrow as well, tomorrow afternoon. Big afternoon jump-off class there in the lead-up, $73,000 plus on the class there, and then on Sunday, one of the biggest Grand Prix of the Major League circuit, over $400,000 in the prize fund for that American Gold Cup as well. And of course they're all coming to town to try and claim that famous trophy with over 50 years of history to that. This is a rider who's making her own history over the last couple of seasons. It's Jacqueline Steffens and the Eye Candy Jumpers Cat Ninja, the mare by Zorocco Blue VDL, and she's certainly been writing some good highlights into the history books so far.
Yeah, Cat Ninja's been a great ride for Jacqueline this season so far. Freaky, of course, her other top ride that you'll be very familiar with seeing on the Major League Show Jumping circuit. But Cat Ninja is the horse with whom she won the 5-star winning round here at our first visit to Traverse City in August. She also won a 5-star jump-off class at Vancouver at the Nations Cup show the week after the Major League show there. She was also 6th in the 5-star winning round class in Vancouver. And at Ottawa, jumped a really nice double clear in the opening 5-star welcome class. She's had wins with this horse at the thermal legs of Major League Show Jumping in 2021 as well. So they really are just going from strength to strength, and it's lovely to see Jacqueline with quite a few horses at the top level. Of course, key part of Team Eye Candy.
Yeah, this one going to go up into the top 10 and hops to the last without any trouble at all. 29.11 into 6th place so far for Jacqueline Steffens Daly. And Cat Ninja going clear into 6th spot at this stage for the Canadian. The best of the Canadians still Vanessa Mannix in equal 2nd position alongside US rider Kyle King and Echelon, as they both sit on the clears on 27.4, but just edging them out so far is Rally Hyla and Casino 64 on 26.68. McLean Ward, and McLean Susan Heller's Faro, the gelding by Calvaro Z. Susan, who's been owner of a number of good horses with them, also been a horse for the Temple Equestrian too, has also been ridden by Grace Debney, who's a pupil of his, competing here this week. Several horses here for McLean this week on the back of some good finishes in Spruce Meadows last week as well. Some terrific rounds on HH Azure. I say this being the ride normally of Grace Debney in there as well.
Yeah, so one that McLean's been riding since early this year, to 3 wins so far for them. And prior to being ridden by Grace Debney, the horse was with Willem Greve of the Netherlands. McLean himself is 17th in the Longines World Rankings at the moment.
And tips the hat, done enough, says thank you very much. And that's his early exit from this class with the, I think, first of his rides in this year. Still got Callis to come a little later on for the Beechwood Stables on that occasion. So Rally Hyla keeping the lead as it stands at the moment. Bia Manley also up in the top 5 throughout most of the season here in Traverse City as part of the Captive One Rider Bonus Series. And Biat, well, with a long list of accolades from World Cup champion through to Olympic silver medalist. Biat riding horse from the Grant Road Partners of New York, Chatrain Puy Noir, for the mare by Cannon, the 10-year-old by the line, or out of the lines of Royal Prix Noir for the Swiss rider who spends much of his time here in the US, of course, these days. Trains Katie Dynan as part of the Grant Road Partners team as well. Good to see Beat here. And for him, again, it's a ride that's moved between him and Katie.
Yes, exactly. Katie jumped the horse at Megev and Dinard as well earlier this summer. And Beat jumped the horse at Valkenswaard in the Netherlands as well as earlier this summer here at Traverse City, to plenty of successes, including a 1st and a 3rd place in a 3 and a 2-star level competition. Most recently, they were 2nd in a 2-star Grand Prix at Bridgehampton. And earlier on, this horse was with Guillaume Fautrier of France.
Yeah, an early railers to just go a little forward there, and Beat, again, this horse not as experienced with him over the big tracks, decides to go over the Oxa rather than the water. Alan Wade, the course designer here, giving them some options.
But as you say, it's really lovely to have Beat here in these competitions, and we've got a really international field, actually, riders from all over the world here this week.
Yeah, strong group coming out for this year's American Gold Cup once again, and it is nicely through on a score of 33.01. And just going to be on the 4 faults there. That early rail, of course, coming at the Turtle Creek Casino fence, just on that first line for Beat Manley and Chatrain Puy Noir. So just on the 4 faults for them. I'd say going to be an interesting combination to see into this week and later, of course, but the best results with Desari and others in recent times. Beezy Man with another younger horse here. It's a 2014 horse, in that's an 8-year-old. Gelding by Harley VDL out of Chalana is Hummer Z. For Beezy from Casanova, New York, of course, and Beezy, winner of a 5-star Grand Prix here last year, and that just is a tiny blip in the giant list of 5-star Grand Prix that she's had throughout her career, but it's each one is special, of course, a multiple winner, I think 3-time winner of the American Gold Cup as well. So she'll be having an eye on that later on this week. She's also got Breitling LS here, the little more experienced horse that, I say a little bit more experienced, has won a World Cup final. But this is a nice 8-year-old for her. They've got a list of young horses competing here too. James Billington riding a few of the younger horses here earlier on today. So a nice string coming through for the Mandans.
Yeah, lovely to see these younger horses coming through, as you say, alongside the top-level horses for some of these really experienced riders. This is one that Beezy's been riding since June of this year. She took this to Calgary for a good few weeks, jumping in the 2-star competition. So this is actually this horse's first 5-star. It was ridden as a young horse by Peter Clemens and Emma Bocken over in Europe. But Beezy's had 3 top 10 finishes with this horse, but as I say, they are at 2-star level.
Lovely as ever to get to see Beezy ride. Goes into 4th place there, 27.70 for Beezy Madden and Hummer Z. Drives around nicely, and there we go. Just so neatly balanced round they go and through. Doesn't take on the water this time, just pops nicely over the oxer. And again, just one to build on, coming into the, as you say, their first 5-star together. So Beezy goes into 4th place without too much stress. 27.7 from the US rider and part of the Crusader squad. Part of the winning team from Ottawa now, the Logano team there. It's Hilary McNerney and Love Light. Love Light is a stallion 11 years of age by Lord Zed for Hilary from Wellington, Florida.
Yeah, Hilary, a potential rider for Team Logano this week. And fantastic to see them really coming together as a team for that win in Ottawa. This is a horse that she's been jumping in 5-star competitions at the end of last year, but this is only their 3rd show together of 2022. So they jumped at Calgary in June in the 2 stars, and then here in a 3-star competition at Traverse City just last week. Now come forward though at the 5-star level once again. So the horse has had a little bit of a break in competition for about 6 months before starting back up in Calgary. But prior to that they had plenty of top 10s right the way up to 4-star level. It's a horse that Hilary's been riding since 2021.
A little touch there, as she said. Just trying to woe into that line. 28.23, using the voice to go into 5th place there for Hilary McNerney. Still a nice lineup with Love Light. Goes top 5 for Hilary for the US rider. Rally Hyler keeping the lead at the moment also for the US at this stage. This first 5-star of the week. I say $1,000 class, really a good pipe opener for those just getting ready for the major classes here this week as part of the Major League jumping. Chilled out looking Sam Walker there, and Angelica Hero Z, and horse owned by Claire Well and Mississauga, Ontario. Sam, of course, also from Ontario, the Canadian. Been building up the horses here this year. This, in fact, a 10-year-old mare by Organics de Seigneur, and out of the lines of Carthago Z, alongside, of course, the well-established Evita, and Hermelian has been getting some new faces around the arenas as well. And Sam, already still just a young rider, in fact picked up a medal here just a few weeks ago as part of the North American Young Riders Championship. Be interesting to see him with this one.
Yeah, bronze medal for the team in the North American Young Rider Championship. Bit of a tricky time individually, and then he took Evita to Toronto and to Ottawa as well. This one though is just a horse he's been getting to grips with this year so far. He took this one also to Toronto and Ottawa to jump in the 2-star competitions. They were 4th in the 2-star Grand Prix at Ottawa, getting into the jump off to just have the 1 fence down there, and they were also 6th in the 2-star Grand Prix in Toronto. Double clear for them there for that 6th place finish. This horse was previously with Christophe van der Hasselt of Belgium.
Yeah, neatly put round at 26.37. It's a new leader for Sam Walker, Angelica Hero Z. So we're looking forward to seeing that one. Again, did it without too much stress. Height for this class, of course, looking more like the 140, 145. If you like, the easiest stretch of the week for them. But done very nicely indeed, and again looking like they've got plenty in the tank to keep going up a few more holes on those fences and technicalities. So looking forward to how that plays out. But Sam Walker takes the lead as part of the Show Plus Northern Lights, of course, as well here this week. Angelica Hero Z is the new leading hero on 26.37. Rally Heiner in second, 26.68. Nicolette Hurt of Alamo, California, the Iron Horse Equestrians, Oak Grove's Desperado. 9-year-olds here, the Saint Francais gelding by Dumont de Semi from the line of Niège de Bacon. And again, newer one for her.
Yes, it is a newer horse, one that Nicolette's had since June of this year. One was with Jennifer Pedersen of Denmark and Harmlada of Germany previously. They were 11th in the here in Traverse City in July of this year, 11th place in 2001. In 2022, they're really just getting the miles on the clock. They're just really getting to grips with each other. As I say, it's quite a new partnership. They've certainly got plenty of potential and really have got the one fence down. Nicolette's other top ride at the 5-star level is Clarette. She's been jumping for a couple of years. That was Major League teams in 2021. Placing sevens team.
I think she's possibly going to say she's done enough. Yep, hand goes up, and Nicolette Hurt deciding to retire with Oak Grove's Desperado. Ashley Bond coming into the reckoning now, and Ashley with Donatello 141 for Ashley and the Little Valley Farms, originally from California, now based in Florida. The 11-year-old Westphalian by Diorado, horse actually she rode to 11th place at the Olympic Games last year in Tokyo as well. She's had a terrific year too, having won that Rolex Grand Prix in Wellington. That was with Caroline of Bullmore. Brings both of those horses here this week as part of the battle for Major League and for the American Gold Cup. Of course, she's part of the Helios team, a big driving force for that won the first 3 stages. There's been various moves in the way they've set up the team at the different stages, and now is back with Ashley here in Traverse City.
Yes, such a fantastic leader of Team Helios, as you say. The 3 wins that they've had have all been with entirely different lineups. Ashley on the team once, that was in Vancouver. But she comes back here.
And done jumping here pretty early on. Decided they've just done a few fences. That's all we need. Ashley Bond and Donatello 141. So they will be put away until tomorrow. Draw tonight for the teams. Blue skies up above as the teams this evening will head to Elk Rapids Marina for the draw. Don't worry, I don't think it involves being on the water here tonight, unlike when it was in Vancouver and they were canoeing down the river. I think a bit more of a sedate evening this evening, but a beautiful spot. And again, if you haven't visited Traverse City and the surrounding area before now, it is well worth a visit. It's certainly a hot spot for holiday makers here in the US as well. Plenty of visitors enjoying, but it means there's lots and lots to do and see, whether you're out paddling on the lake, hitting your golf ball over amongst the trees and the long list of golf courses here, or any of the many activities that are in the area, alongside coming to the horse show. And it's been great to welcome the crowds back here as well, as they've been building right up. Lacey Gilbertson has been a crowd pleaser so far this season and in the last few weeks here in Traverse City as well. She's based not too far away, a fair drive though, to Lake Forest, Illinois, but still up into the northern parts of this region. Seabrook LLC's Damsel Saint-Emel, the Saint Francais 9-year-old mare by Uppercut Quebec. And for the line of Gazelle Bleus for Lacey Gilbertson. And probably been one of her best seasons so far.
Yeah, she's been fantastic so far this season. She's been such a key part of the Spy Coast Spies team, riding for them at pretty much every leg so far, contributing to those second place finishes, 3 second places for the Spyco Spies, which has them lying in second in the overall season standings. Damsel Santamel is just a 9-year-old and is one that again is becoming quite a key part of Lacey's string. She's got some really nice rides, and she's kept this horse in Traverse City for quite a few weeks. They were 11th in the 3-star speed class here just last week, just having 1 fence down, but also had a great double clear for a 3rd place in the 5-star winning round at our Major League show at the start of August. Spyco Spies absolutely knocking on the door though, and in fact, Lacey did say to me, you know, we're nearly there. We've had sort of 3 second places.
And actually, here's a
close.
really good venue for them as well. They've gone fantastically well here last year too, so it might be a lucky one for them. We'll see. As you say, they've gone so close. A couple of second places in there so far. 31-16. They're closing the gap on Team Helios. They'll go to 12th there again, just 9th and athletically across the Major League Oxa. And with the clear there for Lacey Gilbertson and Damsel, Sa-Emel will go into 12th place. Alex Granato, Alex with the Kismer Equestrians, Helios van der Nuzihive, the gelding by numero uno. And for those familiar with the name of Alex, of course, he's a multiple winner of major classes, including World Cup qualifiers with Calcian W. And this has been, again, a newer ride for him coming into this.
Yeah, just since June of this year, they've been jumping at Lexington as well as here at Traverse City. Came 8th in the 3-star Grand Prix here in July, and have been jumping in a few of the 2- and 3-star competitions. Then came up to the 5-star level at the Major League show earlier this in August. To just have 1 fence down in each of the phases of the 2-phase competition. Here previously for an 18th place finish. They've had a win in the 3-star welcome class at Lexington. That was back in June. So really starting to go really nicely. The horse was previously ridden by Gustavo Prato of Argentina, and then prior to that by Chantal Winstra of the Netherlands.
Again, taking every opportunity to give this horse some good practice at these speedy second phases. Thinking about a lot of this horse's potential for the future. Good run for them at 25.87. New leader there for Alex Granato. And Helios, does it bode well for the Helios team here this week? We'll see. But either way, they're going to be the new leader for the Dutch-bred stallion for Alex. Now heading up this Major League opening class of the 5-star. So new leader sees Sam Walker into second with Angelica Hero Z, Raleigh Hyler in to third, fourth, equally for Kyle King and Vanessa Mannix. Little look across the arena here at the Turtle Creek Casino and Hotel International Ring here at Traverse City. And we will be coming up to that halfway stage of this opening class. I say, remember, it is going to be a busy week. Tomorrow afternoon sees 2 classes with the speed and the jump-off class coming up for some big money, prize money there as well. Saturday afternoon into, of course, the team class, and then Sunday afternoon, 2 o'clock, is planned for the American Gold Cup. Of course, the great history with that class as well. So it's all melding together here in Michigan here this week. Little ripple of wind to make it a very pleasant temperature here in Traverse City. Second spin, of course, into this venue. We were here a few weeks ago amongst a very busy period. North American Young Riders Championship as well. It was all flat to the boards there. And now the concluding part of what I think has been about 13 weeks of competition here in Traverse City. But a super way to round it off with a great climax. And it is going to be on to Emma Marlowe now. Emma with the Trolley Farms Cherokee, the Dutch-bred gelding by Cardenso from the line of Kohinoor for Emma, part of the Trailblazers team. on this 15-year-old for the Trelawney farm. And again, last 2 years has given Emma a really good platform as part of this Major League jumping. And for the Trailblazers squad, been a pretty solid player throughout, but again, just getting better and better into this year.
Yeah, they're about 50% in terms of a clear round rate together, which I think shows that they're really fairly consistent. You know, we'd really consider that to be quite a good percentage. They had 2 clears for the team. They ride on the Trailblazers team in Vancouver, but were fairly slow in the first jump off, and so that meant that left the following rider, Daniel Bloom, with a little bit too much to do, so the team came 3rd there. She rode on the Eye Candy team in 2021. But Cherokee, as you say, going better and better. One that she rode at the Major League team competition in Ottawa just a few weeks ago. Had 2 fences down, so the Trailblazers was 6th in that competition.
Coming home on what's now going to be a second fence stand for Emma Marlowe and Cherokee on the 8, and home in 32.098 faults for Emma. A couple down for her, leaves our top few unchanged in this opening class as part of the 5-star week. Just a little move across that Turtle Creek fence, and here at the Eagles just drags one off behind, unfortunately, and then, like several, just turning up into this double, just bounces on the top of that pole there to have that one down. So there's a little swap around in the order. It's kind of Swale actually coming now. And now for the rider, well up those Longines world rankings as well. See several from the top world rankings at the moment. Number 4 for Connor Swale. We've got number 8, Ken Farrington here this week. In fact, we've got, 4 of the top 20 here this week in Traverse City as well. So Connor, good to have him back in the frame here too. Also a recent return from a successful run in Dublin, as we mentioned earlier, the same with Shane Sweetenham. On this 13-year-old by De Montesemi.
Oh yeah, I mean, Connor's been going fantastically well this year, as you say. Dublin was a real highlight, I think, of the year, but the Major League Show Jumping competitions have again been real highlights of his season so far, and Vital Chance de la Roque is certainly a horse that's contributed quite considerably to that. They were 3rd in the 5-star Grand Prix here at the Major League Show earlier in August. Had 2 5-star wins in Kentucky earlier in the year, and in Ottawa they were 2nd in the 5-star Grand Prix, 2nd just to Kent Farrington, and one of only 2 double clears. This is the horse quite interestingly kitted out, usually without shoes and in a hackamore. Quite unusual combination for this level of horse.
Yeah, I think we've got some sneakers on this week. Just looking at the back boot, but as you say, before now has done. Going clear there, 32.67, and nicely done. Enough for Connor Swale and Vital Chance de la Roque. A little bit of a wiggle down there from the water for them. Just settling into the week for Swale as he makes the return here to Traverse City. Puts him top 20. Again, won't be worrying too much about that one. We'll have his eye on the rest of the week. Margie Engel, who's always got her eye on the ball, and current leader of the Captive 1 series here in Traverse City, for the most consistent leading rider throughout. This is the Gladewind Partners Royce now for this well-established combination. The 18-year-old Royce is standing by Cafe Olé for the Gladewind Partners of Wellington, Florida. Major Grand Prix winners on a list of occasions for Margie. And again, one that won't need too much here this week, but I think might just have a little spin around here in readiness for the rest of it.
Yeah, they had a bit of a tough time at Ottawa. They were unfortunately eliminated in the 5-star Grand Prix there, but as you say, Royce has really been such a consistent horse with whom she's jumped several Nations Cup, won so many Grand Prix. He's 18 years old now. A little bit uncharacteristic here last time as well, with 3 down in the 5-star Grand Prix, but Margie has plenty of top rides. She was 4th in the 5-star Grand Prix at Toronto. That though was with Decas. But Royce, really one of these iconic horses that she's ridden in her career. And at 18 years old, probably one of the oldest in the field that we have here.
Yeah. Just has a little bit look at the water, but again, we'll just an eye-opener for them for the week. Around here leaves them a fraction close to that eagle fence, but again, this is a pair that know their way around, especially here in Traverse City, sort of second home for them during the summer. And coming home with the clear round. There we go, job done. 33.82. Gets them done and dusted for a round here this week for Margie Engel. Another one that's possibly looking towards that American Gold Cup. Surprisingly, a trophy that she's never won. One of the very few out here in the States. But again, maybe this is the season for it. The fabulous big jumping 18-year-old Royce is again on fine form. So those two completing for a top 20 finish here in this opening 5-star class. And I think just takes us into a short break. Yes, we do. The fences go up in the sense they're going readiness for the tractor team to head in. A reminder, Alex Granato leads the moment with Helios on 33.43. Sam Walker in second, and Angelica Hero Z and Riley Hyder in third at the moment with Casina 64. Top three back for our second half in probably around 8 minutes.
I'm Danielle Toronto, and we are customers of Marshall and Sterling. They have been amazing for us, for our business. They take care of our farm, our horses, our cars. It's basically one-stop shopping for us.
I'm Jimmy Toronto. Unfortunately, we've actually had to really use Marshall and Sterling for horse death. And I have to say that Marshall and Sterling has been an amazing, amazing company. They have taken care of things. It's been worry-free. The person we deal with, Nikki, she takes it all upon herself. Once we go to her with the claim, she does it all for us. And I have to say, since we've been with Marshall and Sterling, I just can't think of going anywhere else. I put all my trust, all my faith in them.
Premier Equestrian, the #1 choice for footing products. Premier Equestrian, footing products that improve performance. Premier Equestrian, footing products for cushion and stability. Call 800-611-6109 or visit premierequestrian.com.
The beauty, power, and elegance of warm-blood horses is no accident. A history of carefully crafted breeding practices that walk the delicate line of art and science has created a horse that is as strong as it is graceful, so that it may successfully compete at the most elite level in equine sports. Breeders can access an American stallion station that provides both fresh chilled and frozen semen options with full transparency to semen. Set at 100 acres of Lexington, Kentucky bluegrass, Spy Coast Farm is revolutionizing the breeding practices of warm-blood horses. World-renowned stallions with proven bloodlines that have successfully competed at the top level of international Grand Prix sport are collected by a resident veterinarian and processed promptly for shipment to a domestic breeder for a timely insemination of their ovulating mare. The experts at Spy Coast Farm are determined to improve your U.S. breeding options by taking the guesswork out of semen quality.
I'm Danielle Toronto, and we are customers of Marshall and Sterling. They have been amazing for us, for our business. They take care of our farm, our horses, our cars. It's basically one-stop shopping for us.
You know, unfortunately, we've actually had to really use Marshall and Sterling for horse death, and I have to say that Marshall and Sterling has been an amazing company. They have taken care of things. It's been worry-free. The person we deal with, Missy, she takes it all upon herself. Once we go to her with the claim, she does it all for us. And I have to say, since we've been with Marshall and Sterling, I just can't think of going anywhere else. I put all my trust, all my faith in them.
Premier Equestrian, the #1 choice for footing products. Premier Equestrian, footing products that improve performance. Premier Equestrian, footing products for cushion and stability. Call 800-611-6109 or visit premierequestrian.com.
The beauty, power, and elegance of warm blood horses is no accident. A history of carefully crafted breeding practices that walk the delicate line of art and science has created a horse that is as strong as it is graceful, so that it may successfully compete at the most elite level in equine sports. Breeders can access an American Stallion station that provides both fresh chilled and frozen semen options with full transparency on semen quality. Set on 800 acres of Lexington, Kentucky bluegrass, Spy Coast Farm is revolutionizing the breeding practices of warm blood horses. World-renowned stallions with proven bloodlines that have successfully competed at the top level of international Grand Prix sport are collected by a resident veterinarian and processed promptly for shipment to a domestic breeder for a timely insemination of their ovulating mare. The experts at Spy Coast Farm are determined to improve your U.S. breeding options by taking the guesswork out of semen quality.
This break, Kent Farrington will be making his way down the hill in just a moment, and he'll be riding Orafina, who has been many times a winner this season from Wellington in the early part of the year there at the Winter Equestrian Festival, in the Spring Series, Spruce Meadows, Thunderbird, and more. Several other mounts have carried into victory across the map in the U.S. and Canada this season. Kent Farrington. Good time while we're awaiting our next competitor to thank sponsors including Captive One, who bring us Acute Plus Protection, a member benefit program offered by participating veterinarians designed to provide concierge member support, exclusive member opportunities, loyalty points, wellness care benefits, acute medical benefits, mortality benefits, and more. Protect your horse's health with Acute Plus. Also, thanks to Dahlman Jump Co., the official jump company of U.S. Equestrian, the largest in North America. Many of the jumps you see here in the show arena brought to us by Dahlman, who offer the best service, largest supply, and custom jump designs. Get your favorite show jump for home, schooling jumps, or a horse show or seasonal course rental at Dahlman Jump Co. Your satisfaction is always guaranteed. Visit DahlmanJumpCo.com to see a full line of products. Roll Bay Mare by
Well, taking us into the second half of this opening class of Major League Week, and Kent Farrington returning now, the Lugano team's Orafina, and for Kent now with this very good horse that we saw win earlier on in the season, owned by Kent. Of course, he's based down in Wellington, Florida. It's now a 10-year-old mare by For Fashion, and being part of a very exciting team coming with him. Of course, we saw that win in Ottawa a few weeks ago as well for Kent, but really getting ready to set fire to the jumping world once again for this man, who's also still in the world's top 10 as part of the leading elite in the sport. Orafina gone really nicely. Of course, he put some early wins together in the season, and this has given him a good opportunity through the Major League jumping shows to just step these horses up nicely for the next level.
Yeah, Orofina, as you say, is the horse with whom he won the 5-star Grand Prix at Ottawa.
Yep.
One of only 2 double clears there, just pipping Connorswale into 2nd place, but he was also 6th in the 5-star Grand Prix here at the start of August as well with this horse. That again was another Grand Prix where we only had 4 in the jump-off. At a fast 4 faulting round.
Yeah, nicely done. And as with Grand Prix wins behind them, I think Vancouver was also, Nations Cup was on top of their list as well. Top 13, Ken Farrington, Orofina. Not going to worry too much about that one. They are going to be looking at titles for the rest of the week, whether team or individual, with that American Gold Cup. Kent's, of course, a 2-time winner of that title. Abora's Chloe for Rally Hyler. We saw her in the lead a little bit earlier on with Casino 64 and 26.68. Now for another chance with Kurt Hyler of Boston's mare by Chaco Blue, this 11-year-old for Rally. Again into one of her few 5 stars as she steps up a gear with this horse as well.
Yeah, this is a horse that Rally's had since about May of this year. And the horse had a little bit of a break from competition. Before that point, it's been jumped all the way up to lots of 5-star top-level competitions with Marlon Modola Zanatelli. Places like Hamburg, Aachen, Oslo, Lyon, Valkenswaard and Knocker with Marlon. But Rally taking over the reins from May of this year and jumping the horse at North Salem, Devon, and then heading to Europe for a good few competitions at 3-star level. Marlon Modola Zanatelli actually won a 5-star Grand Prix with this horse in Oslo in October of last year, but had 3 down. This horse had 3 down in the 3-star Grand Prix at Deauville with Rally. That was their most recent competition. Nothing down here today though.
So again, staying with the 0 score for Abora's Chloe, and Rally Hyler say her second 0 take around this course, 29.92 though the time this time. So Rally in 3rd place and 13th place, so a 10 spot deficit between those two, but either way, both of them on a clear, not too much to worry about there. And on to our next now, which will be Roberto Terran and the Rocking Basilisk Farms Santana, 9-year-old gelding by Cascadello. And for the Rocking Basilisk Farm of Lexington. Roberto based down in Wellington, Florida as well, as he has been for some time for the Colombian rider, championship rider for his nation on this 9-year-old. Again, performed well in the last couple of weeks here in Traverse City in preparation for this 5-star week. Roberto, already seen him round with Des Octouf a little bit earlier on. Alex Granato leading, just to remind you of that, with Helios on 25.87 in this opening class of the week as part of Major League Jumping and Gold Cup week here in Michigan.
Yeah, second ride for Roberto. As you say, Santana is one that he's been competing this year only. Had a couple of stints at Traverse City, jumping in the 3-star competitions, to just have 1 down in the 3-star Grand Prix for a 15th place, 3 down in the other in a 3-star Grand Prix prior to that in Tryon. But here in the 3-star Grand Prix back in June, they had a couple of fences down for an 18th place finish. This horse though was previously with David Will of Germany. It was ridden by him in 2020 and 2021. A couple of Colombian competitors here in this competition. We have a good turnout from riders from South America as well.
They're on the clear at 32.04 now for Roberto Terran and Santana. Another one with the 0. And heads around nicely, as I say, just getting a little bit more international experience under the belt of this 9-year-old. Just a little touch there at the Traverse City fence. 17th spot overall. BZ Madden due to head in. In fact, it looks like we're moving on to Amy Miller. I thought it was. Future Adventures of Perth, Ontario's Cristiano, the gelding by Canoso for Amy. Amy, of course, been right the way through to World Championship teams this year for Canada. The big competitions last week in Spruce Meadows as well. Cristiano, then, there's one we've seen, I think, certainly on more than one occasion here as part of Major League.
Yes, absolutely. They won the 5-star opening class at Toronto, but also she's also jumped this horse previously this season already, and she's been jumping Cristiano around Europe as well, at Le Ball, Rome, Calgary, and then Wellington earlier on this year. They're the places where she's jumped particularly well. She also jumped Cristiano on Team Eye Candy to 4 wins and 1 second place in 2021. She was always either clear or having just 1 fence down. And again, she's a key part of Team Eye Candy once again. Many people feel she's a really key ingredient for their team and helps them to plenty of wins, and you can see that this pair have absolutely got all of that potential here today, getting off to a fantastic start.
Yeah, very good one for them as new leader for Amy Miller and Cristiano. 24-13, so takes over a second and a bit off again. 25.87 leading time up to that point from Alex Granato, so we're a second and a half even faster for Amy to head the class. Juan Ortiz, Vintage, Blue Trim LLC's ride for Juan Ortiz. The gelding by Verdi Tien, another of 11-year-olds. One that we've seen not too much of yet, and think a pretty new ride for Juan Ortiz.
Yeah, absolutely. This isn't one that we've seen with him in competition yet. He's been jumping Kinky Boy, who we saw earlier in this competition, as well as the likes of Toulouse. Vintage, very new partner for him. And we were talking a little bit about having great representation from elsewhere and from South America. And of course, Juan, representing Venezuela, is one of those riders. Rides on the Show Plus Northern Lights team, who have had a few tricky performances. Juan's been on the team a couple of times. Again, just takes a good look at the water there. And this horse is, as I say, very new for Juan. It's their first competition together. It was previously ridden by Enrique Camiroaga of Spain. And Enrique actually jumped this horse in the Longines EF Nations Cup competitions just earlier this year.
29.64 and top 12 for Juan Ortiz and Vintage. A nice classic round for them, and into the top dozen, into 12th place for Juan. Of course, we saw him a little bit earlier on with Kinky Boy as well. Juan Ortiz top 12 as he extends the string as well. Another combination that have also been knocking on the door of the classes here in the last few weeks here in Michigan. Samuel Parro, second ride here for the Chilean rider, based down in Wellington, Florida, with Crystal Blue, the gelding by Chaco Blue, the 11-year-old for Samuel. Many times Grand Prix winner, and one of several newer horses into his string as well that he's now been again using Traverse City over the last month or so to get these horses into the next level, into FEI.
Really getting this horse going at the 2- and 3-star level here at Traverse City. He jumped in the 2-star Grand Prix at the start of the month at the Major League show to just have 1 fence down and 2 time penalties. Then jumped in the 3-star Grand Prix for a 13th place finish, but just 1 down. That was just 4 days ago. Now steps up to 5-star level. This is this horse's first 5-star competition. But as I say, really pretty new partnership for the Chilean rider. They've only been together since August of this year, so this is only their 2nd month competing together. The horse was previously ridden by Karin Martinsson of Sweden, but earlier was with Werner Muff of Switzerland as well. Jumped the horse to 2- and 3-star level.
Yeah, I had a little look at the water there again and say this pairing not having had too much of a chance to take a run at those. I think he might have a... he's going to have a second spin at this, actually. and then we'll no doubt call it a day. Samuel Parro and Crystal Blue. Just, as I say, calling an early end to the round there, but using the opportunity to ride back and jump the water a second time. Samuel Parro, Crystal Blue, not too keen on the blue yet, but again, just getting used to that. It is on to Nikki Shahini and Simpson. Hakuna Matata, the Silver Raven Farms of Malibu, California's mare by Quinar. Multiple Grand Prix winner and a terrifically fast combination. One to look out for this week as well as part of this 5-star. Very capable of stealing a big class away. 14-year-old mare along the lines of Dragonfly from Landwind II. Horse that she's had right the way through this horse's whole career.
Yeah, a long-term partnership for this pair, and they've been jumping in Lexington and at Traverse City just in the past week, and then also in July together. They had a second place in a 2-star Grand Prix here in July with a great double clear. But they've had plenty of good placings over the years, including wins and plenty of podium finishes as well. The wins up to 3-star level, 3 and 4-star level.
.32 and giving the clear there for Nikki Shahini and Simpson and Hakuna Matata. Again, getting those good rounds behind them. And there we go. We'll see more of them this week into 16th place as it stands. One to watch out for because they can certainly turn up the speed. One that's gone second before now in the American Gold Cup is Carl Cook, and Caillou had a very good performance here last week as well as part of Traverse City. Sydney Osby's now, 15-year-old gelding by Casal for the Californian rider. Caillou's been a multiple Grand Prix winner before now. Had a small hiatus from the top and now back and flying. And I was about to say, Carl Cook, again, Traverse City, very much a happy hunting ground for him. Won 3 Grand Prix here into last season. Has already notched up 1 C this year as well.
Yeah, won the 3-star Grand Prix in August. Just 4 days ago, 3-star Grand Prix with just 2 fences down in the jump off. In the top 10, 4 out of 5 times in their last 5 competitions. Done particularly well in some of the major league show jumping race last year with those, and then include those 3 wins here at Traverse City last season as well. 7th in the 5-star Grand Prix at Thermal in December of last year as well. So a really strong combination. And one that they're definitely aiming for that Gold Cup on Sunday.
And round in 28.84 will put them top 10 for Helios team rider Carl Cook and Caillou. Top 10 for them again. Another one to notch up into the list of possibles here this week to do some big things. So still with Amy Miller and Cristiano leading the way so far in 24.13. Alex Granato in second with Helios and Nushive. It is Sam Walker in third at this point. So the Canadians creating a sandwich with Alex Granato in the middle at the moment. Amy Miller as the top there. Another Canadian to take a run here is Jacqueline Stephens-Daly and Funk Yeah for the Eye Candy team. The gelding by Messenger. This is an 8-year-old for this young grey for the Eye Candy squad.
Quite a new ride for Jacqueline. one that she's had since June of this year, but as you say, just an 8-year-old horse. She jumped this horse in the 5-star competitions for the first time at Ottawa, well, the first time in Canada, so at Ottawa and Toronto. They were 10th in the 2-face 5-star class at Ottawa. Great double clear there. And then they were also 9th in the 5-star speed class at Toronto as well. Prior to that, she's been jumping this horse in 2-star competitions at Calgary. But another really nice young horse coming up through Jacqueline's string. She has those top rides like Cat Ninja and Freaky, and Funky Air now coming forward to join those at the top of her string.
Yeah, just a good opportunity here in this class as well to give horses like this a little bit of mileage time around the big rings, and really in thoughts of next year and beyond. Just on the 4 there, 31.45 for Jacqueline Steffens, and just leaves the back legs on that second fence for them. No trouble at all. The water just comes across there keenly enough without batting an eyelid. And they're just going to fish on the 1 fence down for Jacqueline this time around. Exciting one to look forward to. Jordan Coyle, the Alain Farms Picador, and the British bred ride by Lupicor for the Alain Farm of Newark, New Jersey.
We were talking about some of these competitors who went to the Dublin Horse Show to have some fantastic successes, and Jordan took Picador there to a 2nd place in the 5-star speed class. But Picador is a horse that he's been competing in a number of the top level competitions. Of course, he won the 5-star Grand Prix in Vancouver with Ariso, but Picador is a horse that we've seen him ride on the Spy Coast Spies already, and he's been jumping this horse in several of the 5-star Grand Prix, but just not quite getting there. Not quite getting the results that they want. Horse is a 15-year-old now. It'll be interesting to see who the Spy Coast Spies choose to field for Saturday's competition, because they do have quite a strong squad. They've got quite a few riders here that they can choose from as well. Jordan's such a talented rider against the clock as well, with Picador being another of the horses with whom he's competed so well in speed classes, and that 2nd place in Dublin just evidence of that.
Yeah, finished on the clear at 31.39. Clear there for Jordan Coyle and Picador to take them in the running. Top 20. And for them, again, nice round for them to head into this week. Alberto Michin up into the saddle now. I'll be with the ride of Nabal de Trevera for the now Californian-based rider, with the gelding by Nabab the Rev for Alberto. Base is in Wellington, Florida too, for the Israeli rider, part of the Roadrunners team. And for the man who's been multiple Olympian through his career and a host of 5-star success, now going well with this 12-year-old.
Yeah, they had 2 fences down in the 5-star Grand Prix here in August for an 18th place finish, this combination. It's a ride that Alberto's had since early 2022. The horse came from Jose Gonzalez Pastor of Spain. He also jumped the Nations Cup in Vancouver with this horse in June, and had a 3-star speed class win at Akala also in June with this horse. The other horses he rides on the Roadrunners team to quite a few appearances now this year are Bugatti and Firewall. Again, another rider with a small handful of horses at the top level. Gives a few of these fences a bit of a rattle, but certainly a strong performance considering it's a relatively new partnership as well.
Yeah, new combination round in 31.01 for Alberto Michin and Nabal de Trevera. And for them, sees them again top 20 for that pair. Not going to worry too much about where the money sits at the moment in this $1,000 class. They're going to be after some of the big cash coming up for later on into the week. But it is nicely done and a good kicking off point for those here. So Thomas Joffre back with his regular partner Cadora for Paul Broder, the 12-year-old Holsteiner by Carantino 2.
Another combination who jumped in the 5-star Grand Prix here in August. They just had 2 time penalties in the first round, which saw them be 5th place in the overall placings there. No fences down, just 2 for time. Remember, there were only 4 combinations in the jump-off in that class. It'll be interesting to see how this Gold Cup Grand Prix compares this week. But as you say, Thomas and Cardora, a pretty established combination now. They've been together since 2021. He rode on the Spyco Spies team in Toronto, but unfortunately fell off in the triple combination, and that then resulted in the team coming 8th. It was a pretty uncharacteristic performance for them, but just really unlucky.
And he's going to put his hand up. He's been already a good success story here earlier on to the season for Traverse City, and decided they've done enough there. Just pops around the first phase, and job done for Thomas Joffre and Cadora as they take a retirement point. Amy Miller, Alex Granato, Sam Walker, top 3 in our opening 5-star class here this week in Traverse City. Part of this Major League show. Sean Jobin and Koklikoj van here to Hooverland Zed. The 10-year-old gelding by Katoki for Sean and the Foxridge Farm stables for the Canadian. And again, this is a pairing that were in Ottawa just a few weeks ago.
Yes, they were, exactly. Jumped pretty well in Ottawa. The horse is about 50% clear over fences of 150. And they're about 48% clear over fences of 145, but they're going increasingly more consistently, and as you say, jumps in Ottawa in a number of the top level competitions, including the 5-star Grand Prix. Just had 2 fences down, which kept them out of the jump off, but had them just finish inside the top 20, so still pretty respectable performance there. Sean, also a member of the Show Plus Northern Lights team, who didn't quite have the day that they wanted at that home venue for them in Ottawa.
There we go, 25.03, a much better day at the office today for Sean Jobin and Koklikoj. Into second place on 25.03, Amy Miller leading on 24.13. The Canadians off to a good start with 3 of the top 4, the Americans making up the other 2 of the top 5. Alex Granato in 3rd, Raleigh Heiler in 5th, Amy Miller in number 1, Sean in 2nd, and Sam Walker in 4th so far. Katie Dynan, Brago R&B. Pairing also, they've been top 6 in the American Gold Cup before now for the US rider from New York. Grant Road partners, gelding by Namalasar. And again, good experience combination with this now 16-year-old horse with plenty behind them. And another, I think, that finished well in the Hampton Classic just a couple of weeks ago as well.
Yeah, 3rd place there with a really nice double clear. That was their most recent competition just about 10 days ago, of course. They also had a really good finish in the 4-star Grand Prix at Upperville back in June for a 2nd place with another great double clear. But Katie's taken this horse in a whole host of top-level competitions this year so far. Jumped in the 5-star Longines Grand Prix of Ireland at the Dublin Horse Show. She just had 1 down and 1 for time there. Also jumped this horse at the World Cup final in Leipzig this year as well. And had a win in a 3-star jump-off class at North Salem as well. That was in May of this year, so it just goes to show you how many good results they've had this year alone. But this has been quite a long-term partnership, and they've been consistent throughout their time together. Horse 16 years old now, so knows his way around these sorts of courses really quite well. But still a really nice opportunity for them to just take a little bit of a look around and get their week off to a strong start. And as I say, long-term partnership that have been together since 2019.
Should go around solidly enough for these pair that again have proved their worth in this arena before now. There we go at 32.26, and it is clear there for Katie Dinan, Brego R&B. Again, not taking too much out of the tank for those two, easily enough, and there we go into top 25. It's like Alec Lawler now of California. Alec with 4 gold. The Holsteiner gelding by For Fashion. Another one that's been here back into the summer too for Alec Lawler was a Grand Prix winner here into June of this year. Those early spring shows here in Traverse City. And set up the run for them right the way through this year.
Yeah, 3-star Grand Prix win here, as you say, in June. And 50% clear both here and in Thermal in 2022 so far. They've been in the top 10 3 times out of 5 Grand Prix that they've jumped this year. Again, shows you their consistency, but this pair, for this pair, the consistency is really what is so impressive. They're 75% of the time clear over fences of 1.55 m. Their average faults over 1.55 m fences is 1.25. Really, really low score there on that statistic. 2.67 over 150 fences. So as those fences start to get bigger, the consistency just seems to go up and up for this pair. Another rider on the team competitions as well for the Roadrunners.
Yeah, a good pair for the upcoming team competition here this week. Goes into 11th place there. As you can see, they've got a good turn of foot as well. They were very fast here when I was back here in June for their Grand Prix win there. Just tucks up a little closer to that eagle fence, and for them finishing inside the 30 seconds for phase 2 on the 11-year-old. The horse by For Fashion is very much in fashion, into 11th place. Quentin Judge, Double H Farm of Wellington's HH Zorro Z. This 9-year-old gelding by Zorocco Blue. Again, just into the latter part of this year, starting to get a little bit more exposure into those big classes as well. Big power jumping combination. Clears the first without any trouble at all, and again, one that should eat this up. This should be a good week for them again, and gives them a good next step in this 9-year-old's history.
Yeah, not a pair that we saw in the 5-star Grand Prix at Ottawa, but they did jump in the winning round competition, just outside the top 20 there.
And again, a 9-year-old coming through those sort of competitions will be the stepping stone for them for eventual Grand Prix here and there throughout the season for them.
Yeah, they jumped the 5-star Grand Prix at Vancouver, just 1 fence down for 15th place. And then jumped in the 5-star Grand Prix here in August. They were 30th there though. A few down and some time faults there.
Another one nicely around inside 30 seconds. 29.60 for Quentin Judge HH Zorro Z. And to say for the 9-year-old, we'll see where they go this week. May well, well, they've got 2 options really. We'll see what they do. Be an interesting week for them Alexis Sokolov, the US rider, also from California. Calciant EBZ, the rider that trains with Connor Swale as well. On a 9-year-old for the Hot Horses team by Cornish Sobolensky, out of Bronze LVPZ, which goes back to Berlin for this Belgian-bred ride for Alexis. Again, for her first season on to Major League Jumping, part of the Roadrunners team. And for her, any outings for the team yet? I think she has, hasn't she?
Yeah, she has. Just the one, though. I think that was in Ottawa, in fact.
Yeah.
So just the one appearance on the team so far. She's got a couple of good rides. As you say, trains with Connor Swale, who was riding Fasole de Seigneur in our earlier competition here. Calciat EBZ is one that she's had only this year so far, fairly recently, and this was previously competed by Connor. Their first international show together, in fact, was here at Traverse City earlier in the year. That was, of course, at the start of August. This is a horse previously with Gregory Watherley and Cindy van der Straten, both of those riders Belgian competitors. She had a double clear in the 2-star 2-phase competition here in August. But as I say, now stepping up to the 5-star level with this horse.
And steps up nicely into 6th place. It's 27.33, and it is there into top 6 for Alexis Sokolov and Calciant EBZ. And then Tana Karotkin, all well, SCF for the Sandalwood Farms. Another 8-year-old here again, coming into that time of year where the 8-year-olds get a little bit more of exposure into the bigger classes. SCF, of course, with the Spy Coast Farm, having bred this horse by Dictator van der Bosland Huve from their team there. And it is on with then Tana Karotkin, who also rides with Shane Sweetnam, who's ridden many top horses for the Spy Coast lineup for the farm there, and of course their big breeding operation.
Yeah, this is actually the horse's first international competition. As you say, it's just an 8-year-old, but has been jumping in the national level classes with Tana already. He jumped it in the $30,000 National Grand Prix here a couple of weeks ago. But this is their first international start together. They were 3rd in that National Grand Prix. And Tana brought Quinn forward here earlier in this competition, that horse with whom he's had 2 fantastic wins already. Nice to see Orwell now stepping up to the international level for him.
Yeah, goes clear 26.83 and puts them into the reckoning of the top 10 into 6th spot for Orwell SCF and Tana Karotkin, as they will take a top 10 position. Amy Miller keeping the lead so far. And Alex, on to Andrew Wells. Alex Wells also competing here this week. So this is Andrew. Idle H and H. And for Andrew and for the lineup here, regulars here in Traverse City as well. As I say, mentioned as part of that, Giovanna Rinaldi here this week as well as part of their team. Big lineup for them. And onward with the next for the US. Idle H and H is now 9 years of age. It's gelding by Action Breaker for the Itasca Group LLC of Wellington.
Yeah, Andrew actually rode this horse on the AIM United team last year. He was a substitute for the team, and this is the horse that he chose. He's also been jumping well in a few 5-star competitions, some 5-star Grand Prix as well. At Hampton Classic he had 13 penalties, but has had a couple of top 10 finishes in the 3 stars here in June. Also jumped in the 3-star competitions in August here with this horse for several top 20 finishes, not quite inside the top 10, but certainly well inside the top 20. Been jumping in a few of the major league competitions as well. Jumped at Caledon and at Traverse City last year. And it was at Caledon that he jumped on the team competition.
Finishes off nicely enough on a score of 32-15 for Andrew Wells there, and Idle H and H as they go clear. 9-year-old that's again just been moved up in a few more classes here in Traverse City again through this series of shows here. Being able to just keep moving up nicely. It is on to Shane Sweetnam now. Ashley Vogel's Birdie Dutho, the mare by Magic Dell, as we've seen them a number of times before. One of two horses here for Shane here this week. Of course, alongside we've already seen James Can Cruz.
Shane with plenty of top rides at the moment, as you mentioned James Can Cruz, who we've already seen this afternoon, but Birdie Dutho is the one with whom he was second in the winning round competition, that 5-star class in Ottawa at our previous leg. Great double clear, and he was just 0.3 of a second away from the winning time. In the 5-star Grand Prix here in August, he was 8th, just had one down in the first round, but also had a double clear in the 5-star jump-off class for a 4th place at our previous leg here. So really, definitely a venue that suits this pair.
Yeah, and I would take a guess that it would be his team horse this week with James Can Cruz aimed at the Gold Cup, and I think he might, oh no, he's just going to go very steadily round to the water tray here. Again, the class to take the opportunity into. Just take their time over, no great pressure. And pick up a little bit for time there as well. Of course, 37.59. We'll see him fall for time there for Shane Sweetnam and Birdie Dutho. Not too much to worry about there, though, for him. Don't worry about the time faults. They have got about 4 other gears yet before they really hit their stride, and they will be fast and running, I'm sure, into the speed competition, but that sets them up nicely. So nice round there for Shane Sweetnam and Birdie Dutho there, as we look forward to seeing them later on the week. A reminder that team class coming up on Saturday. Bull Run's Prince of Peace for Kristen van der Veen of Wellington now, the gelding by Cardenio, and another who's definitely capable of pulling quite a few gears up in terms of speed classes. Prolific winner, as we mentioned a little bit earlier on, and back with the big striding Prince of Peace.
Yeah, she was fantastic with this horse in the 5-star Grand Prix at Toronto a couple of weeks ago. They were second with a really good double clear there. They were just pipped by Daniel Blumen and Gemma W, of course, extremely experienced pair. So Kristen did so very, very well to get the second place there. But Bull Run's Prince of Peace is one with whom she's had various wins, as you say, on that Roadrunners team. And she's been really pretty consistent for them so far. She was on the Diamond Devils last year. Rode for that team 3 times with this horse. All times that she rode for the team, they were on the podium, and she's been, as I say, really successful for the Roadrunners so far. She also took this horse to the World Cup finals in Leipzig this year.
Yeah.
They were 27th.
Yeah, second World Cup final was also there with Faustino Gentili back in Paris in 2018, of course, the year that Beezy Man was the top finisher there, and goes around there nicely enough. As I say, they've got plenty of other gears to roll into yet. 32.22 for Kristen van der Veen and Bull Run's Prince of Peace. still leaving Amy Miller and Cristiano at the leading spot on the table at 24-13. Sean Jobin in second, so it's Canadian 1-2 at the moment. And Alex Granato leading the US charge in third at the moment, 25-87. Lacey Gilbertson now for another run, this time with the Seabrook LLC's Carlin van Venhoff. The mare by Fantomas de Muse for Lacey, for the US rider.
Interesting, we go from seeing Shane Sweetenham fairly recently because this horse is a former ride of Shane's. Lacey's had 4 top 10 finishes with this horse, and she's jumped, I believe, 13 clear rounds with this horse so far in 2022. They were 11th in the 5-star Grand Prix at Ottawa. And as I say, Lacey is such a key part of the Spyco Spies team. She's been on the team at every leg so far. She jumped Carlin van Venhoff in the Vancouver leg of the team competition, jumped 2 clear rounds there. And hers was actually the fastest time out of everybody in the first jump off. So again, a pair who you could really count on for speed.
Yeah, really settled into that team competition. And really gone up another gear this season. Really confident with this ride to go at those big classes. I think we're just going to say we're done enough. Yes, we have. And hand goes up there to retire there for Lacey Gilbertson and Carlin van Venhoff. So they're done and dusted. McLean Ward going to be next up with the Beechwood Stables Callis, the Revers family. And with the now watch 14-year-old mare by Casal. Not to be confused with a former ride of the same name for him, but seeing him onto this ride in the last few weeks. Been the ride of also a pupil of his, Annabelle Revers, for the Beechwood team. Seen her had good success with this horse. McLeod with this one here this week alongside Faro. Some exciting combinations for him to take a run at these big classes.
Yeah, this year this horse has just jumped at Upperville and that Hampton Classic show that we were talking about earlier this year, both of which were with Shane McLean, sorry. He had just 1 fence down in that 5-star Grand Prix 10 days ago for a 12th place finish, but Annabelle Revers competed this horse quite extensively. Right the way back to 2019, before which this horse was ridden by a Japanese rider, Hikari Yoshizawa.
McLean just giving the horse time around this course. Patience, good round for them. Just going to be a little bit of time to add there as well. About 3, yes it is 3 time. 36.25 for McLean Ward there and Callis. Just really testing things out with this horse that's jumped to this level plenty of times with Annabelle in the saddle. Cali shot once again. Southern Arches, Teddy Z, the gelding by Candio Z for Cali, as we mentioned. I think coming on to what be another ride for her here. Second ride into this class for Cali. Talked about her Grand Prix win here back in Traverse City a few weeks ago. A horse that was produced with the Dolman show jumping. We saw this one go well. I think won the 2-star Grand Prix in Vancouver.
Yes, exactly. Won the 2-star Grand Prix at the Nations Cup show in Vancouver in June. They're also 3rd in the 2-star Grand Prix at the Major League Show Jumping Week at Vancouver in May. She's had this horse on the team she rides for the Crusaders. She's ridden for the Crusaders with this horse twice so far this year. once here at Traverse City, just one down and then a clear, and then also jumped basically the same thing, one down and then a clear for a third place finish for the team in Ottawa. So key part of the team together. Also jumped the horse Charlie for the Crusaders this year as well. And again, she's been on the team at all 4 legs so far this season, so it'd be interesting to see if she's on the squad this weekend in that competition as well.
Just going to be on the 4 at 27.7. It was a good time. Would have been top 10 otherwise. In fact, it was exactly the same time, would you believe, as BZ Madden, who trains her, 27.7, and just has the 4 faults there. BZ in 10th, of course, with Hummer Z, and Teddy Z going a little bit further down. Kyle King once again now. This is the Chess Group's Chess horse that was ridden by Nick Delajoyo, and also with a piece from Kent Farrington back into the early part of this year as well. So a couple of different riders and a few different ones involved in this, and it's gone nicely with Kyle as they've come up together as a partnership. Been well produced through, and a good addition to the string for Kyle.
Yeah, very recently actually ridden by Nick Delajoyo. He rode this horse on the team competition for the Crusaders in Vancouver. As you say, now with Kyle King, while Nick Delajoyo tends to take Conthargos in a lot of those team competitions. Kyle on the Roadrunners team list, but don't believe we've seen him competing for the team yet this year. He's taken this horse in the 5-star competitions here at our earlier leg, and then took the horse back to Vancouver and to Calgary. Had 2 fences down in the 5-star Grand Prix here in August. Whereas, as I say, Nick Delajoyo rode the horse on the team competition and in the winning round class as well.
There, clear it is at 29.45. It is Kyle King and Chess for Kyle. Nicely done for them as well. Top 20. Again, easing them into the week for this very good combination. Coming into our final few, around about 5 or 6 left to go in this one rounder here this afternoon here in Traverse City. It's getting a touch cooler now, a little bit of cloud cover coming over, but still rest of a dry day in prospect. Amy Miller still the leader, Cristiano, Sean Jobin, and then Alex Granato after that. I think actually, yeah, there it is. It is going to be Connor Swale now. Theo 160. The Team Philip Hart's horse. The Chestnut, that's a 10-year-old by Christian 25, owned with the Philip Hart's family for the world number 4. And again, has just been getting a little bit more exposure into those big 5 stars this year.
Yeah, he really used the team competitions to get the miles on the clock with this horse last year. He actually rode in the team competitions with this horse 4 times. 4 times for Connor and twice with Theo. Never dropped a pole for the team yet. As you say, a 10-year-old that's really going from strength to strength. Nice to see Connor having several horses at the 5-star level. Gives some of his his other top horses a chance to have a little bit of a rest between those top competitions.
Yeah, and it's all. I was discussing with him earlier this week. You know, it's all about, and you'll watch the top riders do it, and he's in the same way of the management of where they spread their horses throughout, and do so efficiently. You know, discussing whether it's the top level Swedish squad here, and all of those within that top group. You'll see a pattern of a management of them and how they work throughout the year. Connor Swale on the clear still at the moment. Again, pairing that should cope with this without any too much trouble at all.
They were an interesting pair to watch actually in the winning round competition in Ottawa as well. They had just one time penalty in the first round, but that got them in the top 10 and then through to the second round. So they finished 4th in the end with a good clear in round 2.
On the clear at 31.72, it is Connor Swale for the Eye Candy team, Theo 160. We'll see whether that's going to be his team horse here this week. We'll see what the squads are going to be. It is Connor Swale then on another of the 0 scores, just over the 30-second mark. In the meantime, Carl Cook comes into view at Sydney Osby's Festival, the mare by Carambol, that has also been notching up the wins for him. He's really been having a terrific 12 months in terms of competition, and has been right there in the mix with this one too.
Yeah, he really did. This horse is actually 100% of the time clear at fences over 160, with Carl 62% at 1 metre 50 fences. That shows you just how consistent they've been.
Yeah.
The horse with whom he won that 5-star Hampton Classic competition was Kalinka, of course, but Fessibel really coming up the ranks as well.
Yeah, it's won some National Grand Prix as well for him, and again, as you say, just sort of you're getting more exposure at that 150 level probably so far. I mean, just moved up to 160 and just reaches a little over that fence 7. See him with Caillou as well a little bit earlier on, as you say, following on. He'll be certainly bolstered with success after that Hampton Classic Grand Prix as well. On the 4 there, 28.1. Carl Cook for Team Helios with Fessibel. Again, he's got a few options to go to this week of where he heads with teams, etc. But plenty of jumping here this week to get their teeth into. So Carl Cook just on the 4. Sam Walker back again. The more experienced Emelian van der Hoek for the Evergate stables now for the Canadian. We've already seen him lying in 4th place with the ride of Angelica Hero Z on 26.37. Now on this 15-year-old more experienced combination.
Yeah, more experienced, more solid at the top level, and so far in the Major League Series, Sam's actually had 2 top 10 finishes in the 5-star Grand Prix with Hermelian. He was one of only 4 riders to get through to the jump-off in the 5-star Grand Prix here in August. Jump clear, obviously, to get into the jump-off, then just had the 1 fence down for the 4th place finish. And then in Toronto, he was the fastest for Falter to finish in 8th. So 2 fantastic top 10 finishes. Sam also on the Show Plus Northern Lights team as well, but Hermelian very much perhaps his most consistent top horse. Evita, his other really great ride, but Hermelian is the one that's given him the 2 top 10s in the Major League 5-star Grand Prix already this season.
Again, not too much trouble for this pair around this track, which is exactly what I would expect. And we'll go very nicely. It's 28.9 into 15th position for Sam Walker and Hermelian van der Hoek for them. Of course, already into 4th place in this class, but plenty of fireworks to go yet this week for this pair. Again, the 15-year-old can really dig in for the young rider as well. You've got plenty to have a run at. One that's very good against the clock too is Cascolretto for the Take 2 LLC of Wellington, Florida. Vanessa Hood is the rider, of course, and with this bay gelding by Casal, now 10 years of age for Vanessa, for Team Logano, of course, that had that success in Ottawa as well. She's very capable of being a big feature here this week too.
Yeah, and she was on that team with this horse in Ottawa to help them to that win alongside Natalie Dean and Kent Farrington. She also jumped in the 5-star winning round competition here in August. Just had 2 time penalties to finish in 13th place. Had 4 top 10s in Calgary as well this summer. And she's about 40% of the time clear with this horse this year so far. But good against the clock, and they were a fantastic combination for the team in Ottawa. Horse was previously ridden by Jana Frederica Meyer-Zimmermann. But Vanessa's really been getting quite a lot of competitions in with this horse now. Not only in the team competitions, but as I say, in those individual 5-star competitions like the winning round classes.
Kent Farrington watching from up on the hill. And very nicely done. And just the one to go. And there we go, 29.31. Top 20, but again, happy enough, I'm sure, with a good 0 score there here at the Sunflowers. Of course, it's that time of season here in Traverse City at the moment. They're on show all in their natural habitat. A blaze of some of those fields around us of the yellow. And along the roadsides as well. 29.31 there. Nicolette Hurt, one of, it looks like 2 left to go. Iron Horse Equestrian's Chatu 7, the gelding by Chaco Blue from Nicolette from California. Just leave us with Simon McCarthy. Just wait one. Amy Miller getting ever closer to first victory of the week. Regardless of the prize money, always nice to get a trophy to start off and get you in the groove. Nicolette Hurt, this pairing been together for quite some time now, well established through Wellington this year, and also into some of the stages of Major League here previously here in Traverse City.
Yeah, they did jump at our first leg here in August. They were 9th in the 5-star jump-off class with a really nice double clear, but sadly were eliminated in the 5-star Grand Prix. Didn't quite go their way, but that was very unusual for them. And they've had a lot of good results. They also competed at a lot of the Major League legs in 2021 at Monterey, at San Miguel de Allende, at Toronto and at Traverse City. In fact, they came 7th in the 5-star Grand Prix in July at the Major League show last year, just having 1 time penalty. So they have done well here in the past.
Going clear in 31.05 for Nicolette Hurt, and Chatu 7 on the 13-year-old to give them a nice 0 on the scoreboard. Nothing much changes. Amy Miller leads, and just looks like the one to come yet in this opening class. Simon McCarthy of Ireland, and going to be aboard Florida N. New ride for the rider from the Emerald Isle. Based here, of course, in the US for quite some time now. Holstein, a 9-year-old mare by Clarimo for Simon. Goes back to the line on the dam side of Laval II. Has been coming through, I say, just into probably their first 5-star here.
Yes, exactly. First 5-star competition for this combination. They jumped in Toronto and at Ottawa in the 2-star competitions. But it's a relatively new partnership. This horse was ridden by Jack Towell earlier this year, and then by Angelique Russen of Germany in 2021 and 2020. Simon, of course, a key rider for Team Helios, was on the team that won here at Traverse City, but he's really getting quite a pace up. This is
he's having a spin here.
Yeah, perhaps some of the quickest turns we've seen.
Yeah. No. Ooh. Kick and a buck and a go, and say on this, just gets a little quick through there on this Hardental recent ride. Finishing on the 4 there, 23.47 for Simon McCarthy, fastest of the lot, 23.47, but unfortunately a fence down as they really chase through the double here and catches up with them on the second part of it, leaves them on the 4 and gives us the concluding part, because Amy Miller will be our winner with Cristiano. Sean Jobin of Canada in second, Alex Granato in third, Sam Walker in fourth, Raleigh Hyler in fifth, Tanaka Rotkin after that into sixth place. Let's see that overall lineup. Seventh place we will see in just a second. Raleigh Hyler, there's a confirmation of top 5. Amy Miller, Sean Jobin, Alex Granato, Sam Walker and Raleigh Hyler for the top 5 in this opening 2-phase class. After Raleigh, Tanaka Rotkin, Alexis Sokolov, Kyle King, Vanessa Mannix and Beezy Madden completing the lineup. So that's our first class out of the way of the week, and gives you a little introduction to who's here, who's going to be a part of this week's Major League Show Jumping and American Gold Cup conclusion here on Sunday. Team competition on Saturday. Friday afternoon, of course, tomorrow we'll see 2 classes, speed and jump off winning round as well on Sunday morning too. So a busy lineup here. But first, win goes to the Canadians, to Amy Miller and the Eye Candy squad, Cristiano.
In the 10th place then, we had Love Light and Hillary McNerney 11th, and Eliante Z and Thomas Joffrey rounding out the top 12. Again, the top 3 are the ones who will come in for the awards here in just a moment. One of our sponsorship coordinators and assisting as well with production here in 2022. Hannah Kinlaw setting up the shot there for our top 3 presentation. Lauren White, our marketing director, also with us here to present those awards as the top 3 are making their way down the hill. Well, here they come, ladies and gentlemen. Our top 3 entries making their way into center ring. They include Amy Miller with Cristiano, Sean Jobin with Kokeliko van het Huvelen, and Alex Granato with Elios van den Nosahova. Alex making his way down the hillside right now as that 3rd place finisher. While Alex is making his way in, of course, he is our rider for the USA. The top 2 positions actually held by riders from Canada. Amy Miller, of course, the winner there with Cristiano Shanjobin in second aboard Keukeliko Van Het Heuveland Z. And, of course, they're going to be making their way into center, as you can see, facing the scoreboard where the Maple Leaf of Canada will appear, as we are going to have all of you please rise and remove cover. Will honor that winning nation of Canada with the playing of that national anthem. Well, there you have it. A nice effort by Amy Miller with Cristiano. They have earned a couple of two-phase victories here this season. And again, that'll be the top honor. Finishing in second again, Shanjobin with Keukeliko Van Heuveland Z. And, of course, there was Alex Granado finishing in third place. We'll have photographs taken of those top 3 now, with Alex making his way in aboard Elios van den Nosselhove to stand for the pictures taken, of course, by Andrew Ryback Photographers, our official photographers here at our Traverse City Series. And again, Lauren White, our Director of Marketing, on hand for those photos as well. From the third position to the second position, it'll be Shanjobin and Keukeliko Van Het Heuveland Z. Again, the runner-up in the class in a 25.03 time. And the winner again, Amy Miller aboard Cristiano, number 539. Amy out of Perth, Ontario, Canada, riding for future adventures there with Cristiano. Blue ribbon effort in our 5-star opener for the week here at our Major League Show Jumping Tour stop in Traverse City. And, of course, she's also earned the right to lead that victory pass. We'll ask you to put your hands together for the winner here in our final class of Thursday at our American Gold Cup week, as the Traverse City Tour again is in full swing and, in fact, in the home stretch while Amy leads that victory lap. Heading down that home stretch once again with one of those coveted American Gold Cup coolers, which goes to the winner of our feature events throughout the course of the week. Again, it is Amy Miller and Cristiano winning the class in 24.13, nearly a second ahead of the pack in the clear column. Shanjobin and Keukeliko Van Het Heuveland Z in second, Alex Granado and Elios van den Nosselhove finishing in 25.87 for third place. And we salute all of you for your competition today. Look forward to taking it up a notch in 2- and 5-star events. We have a full slate of action throughout the course of our next 3 days, and just can't wait to kick it off here again bright and early tomorrow morning. Until then, thanks for being with us at our Traverse City stop, the American Gold Cup here on the Major League Show Jumping Tour. We will see you tomorrow.
We have a new